to Washington, where US President Donald Trump is speaking at the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett to the US Supreme Court.
Lindsey Graham. Thank you, Lindsey. Also with us, Senators Marsha Blackburn, Mike Braun, Bill Cassidy, Kevin Cramer, Ted Cruz, Steve Daines, Ron Johnson, James Lankford, Mike Lee, and Martha McSally. And I hope I didn't leave anybody out. And a very special thanks to our great Vice President, Mike Pence. Thank you, Mike. Also, I want to thank White House counsel, Pat Cipollone. Thank you, Pat. And very importantly, I want to welcome Justice Barrett's husband, Jesse. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you. Let me also recognize your 7 children, your great, beautiful children who have become really very, very popular in this nation. People have been watching them and loving them, and they're watching right now back home in Indiana. Thank you very much. But I speak to everyone when I say that the Barrett family has captured America's heart. It is highly fitting that Justice Barrett fills the seat of a true pioneer for women. It's Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Tonight, Justice Barrett becomes not only the 5th woman to serve on our nation's highest court, but the very first mother of school-aged children to become a Supreme Court justice. Very important. Over the past few weeks, the entire world has seen Justice Barrett's deep knowledge, tremendous poise, and towering intellect. She answered questions for hours on end. Throughout her entire confirmation, her impeccable credentials were unquestioned, unchallenged, and obvious to all. Justice Barrett earned a full academic scholarship to Notre Dame Law School, graduated first in her class, and served as a clerk for Justice Antonin Scalia. She was a beloved professor at Notre Dame Law School for 15 years before I very proudly appointed her to the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit in 2017. The American
President Donald
people
Trump, they're
have...
speaking in Washington, D.C. at the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. She has been a controversial choice, and the timing of her appointment has been controversial as well, coming just a week before the US presidential election. Well, with more on this, here's our US political analyst and the host of Planet America, John Barron. Hi, John. This all seems to be happening very quickly. Is it being rushed through?
Yes, it has been very quick. 6 weeks since the death of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, just 4 weeks since Amy Coney Barrett was named as Donald Trump's 3rd Supreme Court nominee, and that entire process has taken just 4 weeks. Of course, they were rushing to a deadline before November 3's presidential election, not because President Trump will lose power or lose his Senate majority on that date, but because it would become that much harder for Republicans to justify were they to have lost the White House or lost their Senate majority or both, which looks more likely than not next week at this point. It would have been harder to justify with the American voters bringing forward this nomination so quickly. So now it has happened. And Donald Trump has that 6-3 conservative majority on the Supreme Court, not just for the rest of his presidency, but possibly for a generation ahead. So this is a very significant achievement.
And what's she likely to do when she gets onto the Supreme Court, John? Are there decisions or important decisions or rulings coming up?
We can rely on Amy Coney Barrett to be a fairly staunch originalist and conservative in her judicial philosophy. Throughout this confirmation process, she, like other Supreme Court nominees in the past, has resisted litmus test questions. What would she do if there was a re-litigation of landmark rulings such as the 1973 Roe versus Wade case that opened up access to abortion rights to larger numbers of American women? That is one of the issues, though, that she is seen as being very pro-life. And so that is a concern of progressives in the United States who want to preserve a woman's right to choose, that Amy Coney Barrett could rule in a future case in such a way that will erode their access or their rights to a termination. That is just one of those sort of conservative hot-button issues that certainly has Republicans in the United States cheering today at her nomination.
OK, to the presidential election itself then, just over a week away now. What's the latest on early voting and on both campaigns?
Well, it's a real contrast at the moment between the two campaigns, Ros. Former Vice President Joe Biden is still enjoying an 8 or 9 percentage point lead in the average of national polls, and a smaller but still significant and solid-looking 4 or 5 point lead in the average of battleground state polls. Joe Biden's in the box seat, and he's not taking any chances this week. He literally took the day off yesterday. He did absolutely nothing, which is unheard of in the final fortnight of a presidential campaign. Donald Trump, on the other hand, he is fighting for every last vote in crucial swing states such as Pennsylvania. 3 campaign rallies there today. He is trying very, very hard to do as he did in 2016, which is to defy the pundits and the critics and the polls and come in over the top with a late wave of enthusiasm. So far, there's no evidence of that in the opinion polls. Donald Trump is right now heading towards a significant defeat next week. That is, if these opinion polls can be believed. And there's a fairly good reason to believe these opinion polls as well. They've been consistently favouring Joe Biden now for the best part of 18 months.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, Ross.